Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich in today's Entertainment Spotlight, being part of my conversation with author and motivational speaker Brittany Wagner, discussing her book, Next Chance You. Enjoy today's program. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, safety doors failed in New York City high-rise fire that killed 17. Investigators sought answers Monday for why safety doors failed to close when fire broke out in a New York high-rise, allowing thick smoke to rise through the tower and killing 17 people, including 8 children, in the city's deadliest blaze in more than 3 decades. A malfunctioning electric space heater apparently started the fire on Sunday in the 19th-story building in the Bronx, fire officials said on Monday. The flames damaged only a small part of the building, but smoke poured through the apartment's open door and turned stairwells into dark, ash-choked death traps. The stairs were the only method of escape in a tower too tall for fire escapes. The fire commissioner said the apartment's front door and a door on the 15th floor should have been self-closing and blunted the spread of smoke, but the doors stayed fully open. It was not clear if the doors failed mechanically or if they had been intentionally propped open. The heavy smoke blocked some residents from escaping and incapacitated others as they tried to flee, the fire officials said. Victims, many in cardiac and respiratory arrest, were found on every floor. Firefighters carried out limp children and gave them oxygen and continued making rescues even after their air supplies ran out. Dozens of people were hospitalized, including several in critical condition. Mayor Eric Adams called it an unspeakable tragedy at a news conference near the scene on Monday. This tragedy is not going to define us, Adams said. It is going to show our resiliency. Adams lowered the death toll from an initial report on Sunday, saying that 2 fewer people were killed than originally thought. The dead included children as young as 4 years old, a city council member said. An investigation was underway to determine how the fire spread and whether anything could have been done to prevent or contain the blaze. In more national news, Robert Durst, real estate heir convicted of murder, dies. Robert Durst, the wealthy real estate heir and failed fugitive, dogged for decades with suspicions in the disappearance and deaths of those around him before he was convicted last year of killing his best friend, has died. He was 78 years old. Durst died of natural causes on Monday in a hospital outside the California prison where he was serving a life sentence, according to the Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. Durst had been held in a hospital lockup in Stockton due to litany of ailments. Durst was convicted in September of shooting Susan Berman at point-blank range at her Los Angeles home in 2000. He was sentenced October the 4th to life in prison without parole. In more national news, U.S. hospitals let infected staff members stay on the job. Hospitals around the U.S. are increasingly taking the extraordinary step of allowing nurses and other workers infected with the coronavirus to stay on the job if they have mild symptoms or none at all. The move is a reaction to the severe hospital shortages and crushing caseloads that the Omicron variant is causing. California health authorities announced over the weekend that hospital staff members who test positive but are symptom-free can continue working. Some hospitals in Rhode Island and Arizona have likewise told employees they can stay on the job if they have no symptoms or just mild ones. The highly contagious Omicron variant has sent new cases of COVID-19 exploding to over 700,000 a day in the U.S. on average, obliterating the record set a year ago. The number of Americans in the hospital with the virus is running at about 108,000, just short of the peak of 124,000 last January. Many hospitals are not only swamped with cases, but severely shorthanded because of so many employees out with COVID-19. At the same time, Omicron appears to be causing milder illness than the Delta variant. In business news, stocks end modestly lower after recouping most of early loss. Stocks on Wall Street fell again on Monday, though the market ended up bouncing nearly all the way back from an early slide led by technology companies. A broad wave of selling pulled the S&P 500 down by 2% in the early goings on Monday, but a late afternoon burst of buying left the benchmark index with a loss of just 0.1%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 0.5% after having been down 1.6%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq eked out a gain of less than 0.1% after having been down 2.7%. And finally, in entertainment news, actor and comedian Bob Saget has died. Comedian and actor Bob Saget was found dead lying face up on his bed in a hotel room in Florida with no signs of trauma, according to a sheriff's office report released on Monday. There were no signs of foul play, and the room itself was in order, with items owned by Mr. Saget on the nightstand, television stand, closet, and bathroom. Saget was declared dead shortly before 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. His room key indicated he had entered the room a little before 2:20 a.m. Eastern Time, according to the police report. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
This is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Always continue to shine your light of goodness. When you find yourself in the presence of a person in a grumpy mood, it may seem like a dark cloud is approaching. This might block your light of positivity. You can remind yourself that clouds pass. This person's grumpy behavior does not have the power to affect your mood unless you allow it to. With the power of change firmly in your hands, you can choose to respond to a grumpy person with confidence and understanding. Continue to shine your light of positivity to assist others to find their way back to their own light. Offer them a silent prayer of peace, a sympathetic smile, or a word of welcome. All people need understanding without any judgments or expectations. Help a person to see the good in any situation they might see as troublesome. Today, find someone and make their day better. And also, enjoy your day.
Author and motivational speaker Brittany Wagner is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Author and motivational speaker Brittany Wagner joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her inspiring new book, Next Chance You, and what she hopes it does for you. Here's a bit of our conversation.
This book is I think, great for all of us, especially as we are kicking off a brand new year. I think being the best version of ourselves is something all of us can work toward. What has it been like for you, Brittany, to see the way that these tools have been able to help other people to be able to embrace their own inner greatness?
You know, that's kind of been the goal of, I think, my whole life. Is to be where I can impact people the most. And in growing up in a state like Mississippi, I think that's kind of was instilled in me at a very young age, to impact other people, that you're going to get the best out of your own life when you're really working to make a difference in other people's lives. And so to be able to write this book and take the lessons that I've learned, the lessons that athletes I've worked with, or students that I've worked with have taught me, and then package it into kind of a story of my own life, but also a book that I think is simple, that I think is a little bit blunt, but also has some compassion, that I think people can, it's a quick read, and it gives you practical tools and steps, actual action items to do in order to be your best self, which was really the goal, to be able to do that and have it out and people read it and then be impacted by it. I mean, I never in a million years thought that I would be the person to do that. So it's a blessing for sure.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll be back to you guys on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.